This episode of After Dark is brought to you by Shutterstock.com. For 25% off your new account, head on over to Shutterstock.com and use the offer code Gamebreaker10 at checkout.
Cause Dexter.
Cause Dexter. What's up, everybody, and welcome to After Dark, the live call-in show where you guys call in and make the show happen. There's no script. I don't even know what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. And we've got the right team to bring it for you. Coming all the way from Gamebreaker, all over Gamebreaker, free-to-play, XIV, Mr. Magician himself. I'd say Mr. Magic Man himself, but then that plays right into your Twitter handle. Mr. Magic Man himself. Pajamas. Mike Byrne.
In the PJs, got my Long Island iced tea.
Man, you're
ready
just
for a good show.
That's not a very long island iced tea. That's like a half island iced tea. Just
well,
saying.
You started 5 minutes late, sir.
Oh, okay.
I was thirsty.
And probably hailing all the way from Chicago with a glass of wine. The one, the only Zach Schultz. Also known as, oh, there it is. Called it. Called it.
So when you said that, the first thing I thought about was Wild and Crazy Kids. Do you remember that?
Oh, what a great show. All that, Snick, friggin' Legends of the Hidden Temple, Guts.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And we go into the shrine of the silver monkey.
Yes.
Assemble the monkey's 3 pieces, push down on the panel, and you'll win this.
Did she get it down? That's not the right pedestal. She's gonna have to climb higher. What a great show. Why don't we have shows like that anymore, man?
Yeah, we need to climb the crag. I mean, I never got to climb the crag.
I always wanted a piece of the aggro crag, and when I was finally old enough to do it, they took it away.
Tell them about the Underground Railroad, Omek.
So good. So good. If you guys don't know what you're talking about, man.
You're probably young.
You're probably very young. Although, I was watching Nickelodeon for whatever retarded reason. And they were doing like a I don't know, it was like a Saturday flashback or whatever, but they even brought back Stickly, and he was like, we're doing all the awesome game shows. You guys should come watch. It's so cool. And like, I completely missed it because I really didn't care enough to give up a Saturday to watch this stuff. But it was still the coolest thing when I saw the commercial. I was like, yeah!
Hey, when it's on, my boys, they eat it up. They love that stuff. They're like, these are the coolest things ever. And I'm like, I know. And they were barely in color back then, too. Right? I was like, whoa, Technicolor. This is awesome.
I'm trying to remember what the ad is. Stickly P.O. Box 10108. Something stupid like that. It was so great. So good. So good.
Then
all
you can go back a little bit further, and you can't do that on television.
Ooh,
See, I got a couple years on both of you. So
yeah, that just cut me out of the running. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
I used to watch reruns of Kids Say the Darndest Things. Don't worry.
You can't do that on television. Oh my God, you guys uncultured heathens.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
That's where the whole Nick sliming thing comes from.
Well, you know, some of us are only 12 years old. We can only watch so much old television.
Yeah, well,
right?
chat likes me now and hates you, so it works.
All right, let's go ahead and open up the lines, get the show started. We don't have 20 minutes of questions for each other. I figure we'll open up the lines and get to your guys' calls right off the start, since that's what this show's all about. So, caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Right to me, Stickly, P.O. 963, New York City, New York State, 10108.
Yes! Is this the way to have my back on that one? What a great way to start the show.
And also to have Magic Man's back. Was it, I don't care, or
it was
whatever?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know was the term that you
water
got...
is when they got dumped with a bucket of water on them.
Not water, green slime.
Oh, no.
Was I don't know.
Also, any reference that they made to water, they also got dumped with water.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know was the slime.
Yes, definitely remember the slug.
Boy,
Yes,
I'm
very,
gonna have
very
fun on YouTube after this show's over.
good.
So
Quick, the Legends of the Hidden Temple that you guys also mentioned. The silver monkey. It was 3 pieces. What? How did they have so
I
much
think that
trouble
was.
with 3
Was that Legends of the
pieces?
Hidden Temple or was that Guts? That was Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes,
No, that was Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Okay.
Yeah, I
was
gave you the
3
whole. I gave you
pieces.
the whole directions. It was. Yeah, and one piece had
Bruce, one
feet
of them
on
was
it, and one
clearly
had
the base.
a head.
Yeah.
How hard could it be?
You know what? When
Right?
when you're freaking out and you just climbed or up a freaking rope swing ladder, all right, it's a lot more difficult than it looks. You get the feet upside down, and you don't know how to put the puzzle piece together. It was difficult.
No, it's not. No,
And
it's
if you're
not.
really
No,
lucky,
what is-
some
If
half-naked
you can't tell
40-year-old
head from
dressed
the
as
base,
a
you shouldn't even be on
Aztec
this
is going to jump out and grab you.
It's not. Don't overcomplicate things, Shaftman. It is just as easy as it looks.
Okay, so if you Google Legends of the Hidden Temple Monkey, the very first video, just the very first thing, 457. Why can't anyone assemble the Shrine of the Silver Monkey? That's the
I
top
told you.
search result.
And Chad brings up another one. What was the original one? Funhouse. Yes, J.D. Roth back in the day, hosted Funhouse.
You're old.
Just called out. So Zista, what do you got for us?
So rumor has it, Half-Life 3 trademark was.
Shut up.
Filed. Whoa!
You heard it here first, folks. Half-Life 3
Well,
confirmed.
I get congratulated that I have your back, and then
Half-Life
2 minutes later, I'm told to shut up.
Half-Life 3 confirmed, and it gets confirmed all the time. What are you doing, kid? Why are you trying to put that in from the corner?
I don't get it. This thing only goes together one way, and I can't figure it out.
It's ridiculous.
This is the hardest puzzle ever.
Oh, well, here we go again. Oh, upside. No, wait,
He just tried
backwards.
putting it upside down. Wait, he's not even putting it in the base first. Are you kidding me? Oh, these are, what kind of window lickers are they dealing with?
Oh my god!
All right, sorry, Zista. Half-Life 3.
So we haven't
just
even
do a
seen
Rubik's
Half-Life
Cube
2
instead?
episode 3 yet. What's going on with this?
We haven't had what? Half-Life 2 episode
We
3?
haven't had Half-Life 2 episode 3.
I know, it's blasphemy. We should have Half-Life 2, 3, 4, and 5 before we have Half-Life 3. Come on, Valve, what are you doing?
Well, they originally announced that the episodes were going to be like, they were going up to 3, and then we got 1 and 2 relatively quickly, and then 3 dropped off the face of the earth. It's been like at least 4 years since we saw that, and now we're getting filings for supposed Half-Life 3.
Whatever.
I didn't know.
It's StarCraft Ghost. It's StarCraft Ghost. You're never gonna see it. Never gonna see it.
I gotta say, I think that we will see it, but I think that Half-Life is one of those franchises that Valve holds so dear and holds it really, really tight until they're ready to release it and ready to go forward with it and make sure that it's always something that I don't want to say is groundbreaking, but always captivates the audience that ends up playing it, because that's all you only ever hear great stuff coming out of Valve. And I think that obviously they're very much aware of the fact that everybody has high expectations for not only 3, but also Half-Life 3. And they need to make sure that they deliver on it, and they're not about to just push it out just because the hype's around it. Because with how much hype's around it, if they push it out, Diablo, that's going to happen. And then there's going to be a catastrophe.
So do you think this was a legit trademark filing, or is this falling in suit of Corgis Unleashed in the Dark Below?
Oh,
The
God.
thing looked like the shadiest filing form ever. As far as what information was there, how it was filled out, it's probably legit, right? Because it looks so shady that it's probably the real form. But it's just the first thing I immediately thought of when I saw it, and saw in the comments that a lot of people went the same way, was didn't they already have this? Like, even if they had no intention of making the game, didn't they already have this title trademarked and patented wherever they thought they needed to have it? Just seems odd that they would just, oh shit, you know what, we should probably file for that just in case anybody else decides maybe that they want to try something. I'm gonna say it's not legit just to be contrarian.
What about, I heard that, isn't there like a period where you file that the trademark is only for so many years, like how they have to rebrand Blizzard All-Stars now because it's so many years after the filing of that the trademark is coming up?
I think I don't know exactly. Did they let it lapse, or they didn't have the trademark on Dota and Valve swooped it up and then they got kind of screwed on that part?
Be careful though. You're talking about an issue that was inside the U.S. The filing today was EU, if I'm not mistaken. The Half-Life 3 filing was EU. So totally different set of laws and rules.
You would know better than I.
Well, what were you saying, Kiggles? So continue. I just wanted to clarify on that.
No, I don't have a point. Do you like my cock?
It's a very full, thick cock, Kiggles.
Yes, it is.
Well.
It's a Goliath. See? Goliath.
All right, and with that, let's open up the lines and take another caller. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Hey guys, Ixter from chat.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Okay, so I have a question for you about EVE Online and Dust 514. So EVE just announced its 20th expansion last Thursday, and you know, everybody knows EVE's had like their subscribers over the years, and everyone loves like the gameplay mechanics and the stories of the players. And what we saw them talk about at E3 with their TV show. I know my favorite aspect of what they've been doing is how they've integrated Dust 514 into the EVE universe. But the problem is I don't own a PS3, so I can't play it. So my question is tied into what Q's article was on Gamebreaker today. Basically, since CCP has stated that there is absolutely no exclusivity agreement with Sony, why do you guys think that they're limiting their market to just the PS3 when they've got over 500,000 on EVE Online, all on the PC, a huge PC shooter market? And you know, this is especially important considering that there's some rumors floating around that they might not even be porting the game over to the PS4.
And that was the telling thing to me in Q's article, was that they weren't even looking at the PS4.
Right.
To me, that just, okay, fine, if you don't want to develop for the Xbox 360 or the One or the PC, fine. And I can even understand the PC to a certain extent. Yes, you have a bigger market for first-person shooters with PC, but you would also be kind of tapping into your EVE audience at the same time, and how much of that really helps you at that certain point if you're beating up the same market with multiple titles. Helps a little bit, but not in the long run. So I could see maybe avoiding the PC. When I saw in Q's piece that they were avoiding the PS4, that kind of screamed to me, we're not making money with Dust 514, and it's a pretty easy decision. At least that's, reading between the lines, that's what I took away from it, is the money isn't there on the PS3. There's nothing that says we can't develop for something else, but we're not making enough money to really make it worth sinking more money in to develop something or port it somewhere.
I think it's interesting just because, God, I didn't know that they had no plans on developing it for the PlayStation 4, which is kind of, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about this, because it feels almost like that statement from Xbox when Xbox was coming out, the Xbox One, and was like, well, what about the people who can't play online because they don't have it? And they were like, well, there's this great thing called the Xbox 360. Like, that they developed.
That went over well.
Yeah, exactly. They developed this whole game, and I don't know how well Duster has or hasn't been publicly received, especially by the EVE fans, but I have seen a lot of people playing it, and I've heard fairly mediocre things from my circle of people.
Right.
I could see where they don't necessarily see the justification and the cost that it might take to port, but it seems like such a lost cause to develop something for the PlayStation 3 that is so interconnected to Eve. Eve's not going to stop when the PlayStation 4 comes out. Dust is kind of grown into this integral part. It doesn't change the experiences, but it does affect the two experiences. So I think that anyone who's obviously, like the caller, is a fairly hardcore Eve player, wants to get involved with Dust. What do you do when it's 5 years down the road and we're deep into the PlayStation 4's life cycle, but no one in their right mind is going to go pick up a PS3? What do they do at that point? Is it just, do they just close down the game? Has it just been that poorly received?
You don't have an option at that point. I wouldn't say poorly received. I don't like the term there. That implies that it's not the people that even are playing it, and there's something wrong with them.
No. I mean, I think
received is
mass
the right
public.
way.
Sorry, say that again.
I said I don't think poorly received is the right way to describe it, but it's not. I don't think it's anywhere near the original expectations, if that's what you're asking.
What about
the whole interview was very weird and full of bizarre comments. Things like, right now we're eating our vegetables, but not our dessert. And it was just, what the hell does that mean? It was
gotta get your vitamins. They're important.
Yeah, it was really weird, and there wasn't a negative tone to the entire interview, but there was a kind of tone, and it just led me reading it to think, okay, well, this really probably isn't doing as well as they thought, and they're letting everybody know we're not taking this to other systems right now.
Eve is one of those games that everybody touts, and it does. It statistically has had nothing but an increasing subscriber base. Yep. Do you guys think that they maybe approached Dust with the wrong model? Instead of approaching, obviously, the growth and success of Eve, of needing a small subscriber base and growing over time, did they maybe have this perception of like, wow, Eve's growing into this great game. You know what we can do? We can develop another game, and all these Eve players are going to love Eve so much that they're going to not even jump ship, but go play this other game. And if they were at, and I don't know the true subscriber base of Eve right now, but I'm just going to say 100,000 people. It could be far more than that. 100,000 people. And Dust only got 1,000 players, maybe they've suddenly been like, well, this is a waste of our time. And with Dust, I don't know if it is. And I think that would really suck with the way that the way that they were trying to develop Dust and these two games that kind of coincided with the economy of one another. That's where I think it's tough just to think about the fact that in 3 years, guess what? Dust is going nowhere, and it's done. And clearly, they're going to focus on Eve.
Yeah, and that's kind of the message they're giving you, right? They're saying by the way, Eve subscribers are well over 500,000 right now, so they're doing really, really well. And they made that point in the interview that we started with 30,000, and a decade later, we're at 500,000. So we're used to this slow growing thing. Really? Because you did that on the PC. You just launched a game on the PlayStation 3, which is on its way out of the console market within the next 12 months.
Not even. It's coming. PlayStation 4 comes out in November.
Well, yeah,
it's
but
2
the
months
PlayStation
away.
3 sales are still going to continue for about 9 to 10 months after that before you finally see
Fair enough.
taper off.
All right,
so
fair enough.
By then, you can't even get the system if you wanted it unless you're on eBay. So you don't have the time that the PC gave you, and you've already now acknowledged that you currently do not have plans to port this to any other system. That basically tells the audience, if you want to play this, you need to play it on the PlayStation 3, and you need to play it now, because we're not taking it anywhere in the foreseeable future. Oh, holy shit. What happened to my...
I chopped your face off.
What happened to my face? Oh, my face.
I can't bring you up any higher.
Bring me up.
You're at the top of the screen. We lost Giggles. All right, I guess
So if you want to play this game, You need you need to play it now, and you need to play it on the PlayStation 3. And I think that's kind of the message they were trying to get across. Now or never.
All right,
I'll just sit here and smile. I'll look handsome.
I had to get the cameras adjusted. They got all sorts of messed up. All right, let's go. You know what? Let's actually take a moment and switch gears. I think we've talked enough about Eve here, but before I do, I want to tell you guys about a sponsor that we have on right here, Gamebreaker, that helps make this show possible. Now, Shutterstock.com is a just phenomenal service that anyone in the creative industry should be using daily. And you know, I say creative industry. A lot of you guys might think, well, you know, I'm not in photography. I'm not in the film industry or any of that. But it goes much more than that. I think that a lot of people who watch Gamebreaker can relate to maybe trying to start their own YouTube channel or anything at all that has media in it. You'd be surprised how much having good graphics can really elevate the professionalism that you're exhibiting in your projects. And that's something that Shutterstock offers even to us here at Gamebreaker, where we have a huge team of people that are all working together. We still use Shutterstock to fill in the gaps. And a lot of those gaps come into graphic design and a lot of the small things that don't necessarily work as having someone who has the talents to do them when we can just get them from a service like Shutterstock. So a lot of you guys, like I edit 3 shows a week. Waypoint for XIV, League, and World of Warcraft. And it's a green screen show. It's pretty simple. A lot of you guys out there might be trying to pick up and start your own kind of shows. I know we get a guy who does the U reports, and he does viewer questions all the time on Legendary, and he does some green screen stuff. And when you're doing stuff like that, building sets and having sets behind you are really key. You don't want to just be up against a green screen or a yellow wall. I mean, what? So I'm kidding, Kickles. But if you guys are out there trying to create your own shows and you set up something on a green screen, it's really plain and static. So what you guys can do, if you head on over to Shutterstock, they've got tons of backdrops that you guys can use. I'd like teasing this one just because it's so awesome. I didn't even realize this was there when I searched. But tell me this doesn't look like it's something out of like an NSYNC or a Backstreet Boys music video. It just feels like a set. Did you see that on
S.H.I.E.L.D. this week?
I did not see that on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week. But I did see some of these on Dexter. I can bring that one up if you want me to.
With the Dexter again. Oy vey.
Hey man, all I'm saying is Shutterstock assets on Dexter. Come on. That's just proof that they're everywhere. Open your eyes.
It's pretty legit.
Open your eyes and you'll see that they're all over the place.
You Shutterstock, goddammit. Because this guy said so.
It's true. It's true. We're here to tell you guys. And like I said, there's kind of getting back on the topic of sets. When you're trying to build sets, sometimes it's a lot more difficult to just pick something out of the clear blue. But they got some pretty good, plain textures where it looks like you're just kind of on a backwashed wall. But at the same time, they've got, and I don't have them all up here, but they have a lot of different textured versions. And this one actually has a lamp. But there's more that maybe don't have the lamp. There's other that actually look like set pieces with TVs in the background. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that you love. Lamp. Kiggles loves lamp. But if you guys haven't checked out Shutterstock and you guys are trying to create your own YouTube channels, you just again. Shutterstock can really help you elevate the professionalism if you don't know how to make graphics yourself. So if you guys head on over to Shutterstock and want to check out and make a purchase, be sure to use the offer code GAMEBREAKER10 and you'll get 10% off, or actually not even 10%, you get 25% off your new account. So head on over and check it out. Before we open the lines again, I want to throw it over and take a Twitter question real quick. This comes in from Adrian Lloyd and he asks, who do you guys think is going to take the League of Legends Summoners Cup this year? SKTT1 or Royal Club? Now, Bern, I'm not 100% sure if you're up to date on League, but I wanted to bring this up because it's huge news in the League community because the World Finals are going to be this Friday? No, Saturday.
The 4th.
4th, which is Friday. So huge news. I don't know, Kiggles. You play League. I know you're very mad at me because I didn't ask you to be on my fives team. But I know you play League. Have you been following the World Finals?
Dodgeball. Leave me alone.
What do you think? Have you been paying attention to the World Championships?
Obsessively.
So what do you think here? Who's got the better shot? I gotta say, I'm a little bit upset. I'm even more upset that Cloud9 went out in their third match with such a catastrophic third match. That was
my God! Don't get me
gut-wrenching.
started on that support play, girl. I will tear a hole into that. He got caught at least 75 times. 75 times.
What was Lemonation thinking?
Oh.
But what do you think? All right, so we moved on. We've moved on even past the semifinals. We're looking at the finals. SKTT1 Royal Club. I think SKT is from Korea. Royal Club is from Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken. Both
Yeah,
of them
I believe
playing
you're right
phenomenal.
on both of those. I think you.
So we've been seeing some phenomenal play, and I think that a lot of people out there are probably already screaming SKT because of Faker. Faker's been doing a phenomenal job in mid, and just probably if you go play any ranked match right now, I guarantee you'll find people who are playing Riven mid, Ari mid, or Gragas mid. Burn.
Well, I mean that makes sense, right?
But Kiggles, who do you think? My vote's with SKT. I want to see Faker take it home.
I don't care. It's not
Don't care
American
anymore?
team. It's not Fnatic. Not my sex peke. I could give a shit.
Oh, gee. What if we could just cater to all the stereotypes of why every country in the world hates America? Let's go ahead and do that. There's no American team in here. I ain't watching this shit.
Well, I mean, you want me to
Fnatic's
give you-
European though.
I am not emotionally invested in any of these teams.
But
Not-
honestly, but okay, so that's all right. Hang on, I like where this is going because this can actually turn into a really interesting conversation because I'm the same way to a certain extent. Burn, have you ever really kind of paid attention to a lot of esports or I guess any sports in general? Because we do have that, and I kind of I felt the same way. I like watching the World Championships for League because I'm not really rooting for any specific team. I'd like to see SKTT1 win, but I'm not really rooting. I end up watching the finals, and basically I'm just watching to see the awesome teams go head to head. Maybe it's because I wasn't a jock growing up, and I didn't have that high school, school spirit where I wanted my team to win, and I've never gotten behind even my own team. The only sports team I ever want to win are the Chicago Bears is because I'm from Illinois, and it's just like one of those things I feel like I'm obligated to want the Bears to win.
Chicago Bears. So
I don't know.
Victory.
Clearly, Kiggles loves the Bears too, but I don't know. Burn, what do you think? Do you ever suffer from this this apathy towards esports where you're just kind of watching, or do you ever rally behind a specific team that you know?
That's weird. I actually kind of have a general apathy towards MOBA in general, not esports as a entire thing, but MOBA in general, and that's mainly because I'm not terribly good at them, and they take an awful long time to get good at them, and I'm doing so many other things that I just don't have the time to get good at it, and I don't have a desire to get good at it. Does it mean I don't like them? No. And like you said, I do enjoy watching the high-pressure finals and things like that with the top-tier teams, and I like the drama of who's getting booted off this team and why they're getting booted off this team, and you turned and looked at monitors when you weren't allowed. I love that stuff. I eat that stuff up, but it's because I don't know dick about the game. It's like, they did a good jungle. I have no idea what the hell that means. I don't. That was some great mid. Well, I know that takes place in the middle lane. Great. Well, what was it great? What was great about it? He ganked him. He did what? That sounds nasty. I just don't know.
Him so hard.
So what do you guys?
I knew it. I knew it was going there.
Doesn't it always go there?
But it is exciting to me to watch. But I also am that guy. Like, I feel like my wife doesn't know a lot about football. So when we watch the Super Bowl, I got to explain it to her, right? When I'm watching League of Legends and the finals and the esports, whatever, I've got to have somebody like Matt Perkins on the Gamebreaker staff sitting next to me explaining all the shit. We see that was terrible play right there. Why was it terrible? I don't know, but it is exciting. Just the draw. I like the spectacle of it.
I don't want to come across as like a league fanboy either on the subject, because I think that there are a lot of other esports out there that are great and really challenging. But I really like what Riot's doing with You know, they sold out the Staples Center
yeah.
in minutes. And you brought up, and I was going to take it here too. You brought up the Super Bowl. It truly is. It's one of those things that I think that people who just enjoy League or maybe no League or like games or even don't pay attention to League at all could totally get around the idea of just watching the finals as much as people get around watching the Super Bowl who don't even really care about football the entire season. And I like it. It's awesome. We've been wanting to see esports hit this kind of stride for a very long time, and it's exciting.
Well, I do agree that you really need to have a cursory understanding of what the hell is going on to appreciate the kind of reaction time that some of these players have. Like, watching them and then going and playing ranked, I'm really bad. And I didn't think I was that bad, but I am really I'm not very good. I mean, I don't know. But you're right. You have to play it for a long time to get good at it, or you have to be really just naturally talented at that stuff.
See, now I'm the exact opposite. There was a time about 9 or 10 months ago that I was like, you know what? I am going to learn this. I don't need
League
to be,
specifically, or
League specifically, yes. I don't need to be a world champion or anything like that. I'm not going to be, but I am a very smart guy. I've got multiple degrees. I'm good at gaming. I am going to nail this thing and at least be competent so that I don't get sworn at when I play matches anymore. And I went in, I started playing again, I started playing against the bots and shit, and I'm like, man, I got this. And
yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I didn't get this before. I'm doing well now. It's clicking. Great, let's go into a match. Oh, I hate this game. I don't want to play this anymore. I don't want to play this anymore. I'm now 4 deaths
Leagues.
in.
League and MOBAs in general are one of those brutal.
Yeah.
You have to be the type of gamer, and this is why I enjoy it so much. You have to be the type of gamer that's okay with getting just pooped on repetitively, and like I said, it took me about 2 years of doing nothing but playing that game and losing constantly for it to finally click. And me like now I find myself wanting to play and enjoying playing. But it took 2 years. Not many people are willing to do something where they're losing consistently for 2 years.
Kill me now.
It's
Just
like-
take the game away from me, please. Oh God. I
You guys heard it here first. Chef that likes getting pooped on.
I can't invest 2 years in this goddamn game. Oh,
It's okay.
I need
It's
more
okay.
wine.
Jeff that spent the last 2 years getting shit on. Way to go.
It's true. It's true. The literal term right there. All right, we've wasted enough time with this question. Let's open on the lines. Get another caller in here. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from, and tell us your question.
Hello, my giggles. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Having a great morning here. Like 5 a.m. Like last week.
You cut out there. I didn't hear what you said.
I'm having a good time at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Oh gosh, man, hardcore to get up and be a part of the show at 5 in the morning.
Welcome to Before Dawn.
Yeah.
So how's it going? What's your question for us?
Well, I forgot this one. My name's Incogni from chat, and my question is to make the chat mad.
Uh-oh.
What do you think? Yeah. What do you think Blizzard steal from Final Fantasy as a feature?
Burn, let's throw this one to you real quick, because obviously you're the
Kinda
Final
lost
Fantasy
out.
guy.
Can you give me the question?
The question was, what do you think that Blizzard will steal from Final Fantasy and
I hope
implement
they steal
into
some of the guild sellers.
It's not stealing. It's adapting and growing.
If they could steal maybe like 30% of the guild sellers, that would just be amazing. Because that would.
How about the login wall?
Yeah, any of that stuff. What? Okay, so yeah, Blizzard does have that kind of reputation, right, for looking at other MMOs, and even if they're lesser known, what they do well that they can kind of mold to the world. Okay, so they can steal. I tried. So if they were going to steal something from Final Fantasy, what would it be? I would like to see a little more, and I don't think they can take it all the way Final Fantasy does, but I would like to see the ability to do more than one role on one character, the way Final Fantasy gives you the ability to do all the roles on one character if you're so inclined to level it. I'd like to see a little bit of flexibility, but that's...
Bird, I know we just did XIV Waypoint, or XIV, and I know you know that's pretty much the only thing that I know about Final Fantasy, so why you gotta take my answer?
Oh, well, shit, never mind, I hate that stuff.
He takes everyone's answer.
You know what? I would like to see Fates. There you go. Well, let's put Fates in the game, or some sort of dynamic event. I mean, you're already shanking stuff off Guild Wars 2, so let's go ahead and take those as well, and we'll say we took them from Final Fantasy. That way, nobody can accuse you of stealing from Guild Wars 2
now,
anymore.
Fates, real quick, Fates are like the random boss events that spawn randomly, right?
Yeah, they're like dynamic events, kind of like Rift had their Rifts, and Guild Wars 2 does the odd little events and things like that. They're single boss fights or wave of mobs.
They're totally on track to do that with what they're doing, and I don't think people would argue that it's to that extent. But with what they've introduced in the Timeless Isles, they're definitely right there in terms of implementing that kind of a system.
Well, what I'd like to know, Schaffner, I mean, you don't play Final Fantasy 14 yet.
just really want to pause on it. That's it? That's all you wanted to know?
But what would you like to see? What would you like to see?
You know what I'd really like to see is I hear there's this really cool feature where you get to swap classes a lot and change your role. No, without trying to make it sound like I'm scripted, I do really like that system. It's something that I've seen, and I talked about this just a moment ago on XIV Reborn, is that I'm not the type of player that likes playing alts. I hate it. I really, really do. The only reason I would ever in a million years play alts is, one, to have something up as a backup in case I needed to switch to something else to raid with. Two, because I've given up on the class that I was playing and I absolutely don't want to play it anymore. I take absolute direction and pride into playing one class. And I remember a very big thing that was upsetting for me is I achieved a Realm First title on my Druid, and at the time, it wasn't transferable to any of the other characters that I wanted to play. And it kept me there. I almost quit playing a Feral Druid at one point because I wanted to play a mage, but that alone, like the fact that I had all these titles and achievements and had to start from scratch on that character, was enough to deter me from ever rolling an alt, because I hate that kind of gameplay. I like focusing on one character and making him good and doing all the extra stuff and 100%ing it on one character, not 20%ing it on 15. And I like the fact that XIV has that, and I don't know how that they could implement it, because they're not going to be able to make it so that characters can switch from a druid to a mage ever in the game. That's not the way the game works. But I would love to see, and some people out there, I'm sure chat room, I haven't even read it, some people will be like, well, that's what dual spec's for. You're a druid, stop complaining. You can switch to boomkin, you can switch to tank with bear, you can switch to healer with resto. You've got it all. And I know that I do. But I don't know, like there's just something to be said there for the way that Final Fantasy is doing that system.
I can't wait to hear Kiggle's answer to this.
You play a fucking druid! You're thinking about not being able to do something! Are you kidding me?
Hey, at least I called it before you said anything.
You've got to be kidding me.
So what about you, Kiggles? Are there anything that you know that's happening in Final Fantasy that you would want to see translate over to World of Warcraft?
Who cares? WoW is dead.
WoW's dead. Moving on. I'm actually not sure. I can't remember.
Now there's a lot of stuff I'd like to see stolen the other way.
Updated character models. We need updated character models.
Oh, you're already getting
that, you big baby. 1995, like I'm playing Final Fantasy IV, goddammit.
All right.
64-bit characters.
Let's go ahead and open up the lines and keep the show moving. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Hi, my name is Tyler, and I'm from California. What's going on, guys?
Good, man. How are you? Northern or Southern? It's a big state.
It's Central California, near Stockton.
What
What street?
Okay.
Kind of. I guess I would say northern. Yeah.
North of San
NorCal.
Francisco? That would be northern, in my opinion.
It's basically parallel, just kind of more east of it.
All right, so middle, you win.
Just
Yeah,
give us the address. We'll figure out whether it's north, south, or middle.
Exact address, name, social security number, if you could, please, and then your question.
Oh, he's right. That was middle.
All right. Well, I'll just DM it to you guys. Don't worry about that. So I this is my first time watching, and I think the podcast is like really cool. I've always kind of like wanted to do something along those lines, and like ever since I was like a little kid, I Howard Stern Private Parts when I was like 5 years old. I knew like I always wanted to like do something like this, and I'm kind of wondering, like, do you guys have the show on like iTunes or something like that, or like how do you what kind of platforms do you like operate the whole thing on?
So first off, I just want to ask. You said first time watching the show. Is it your first time watching any Gamebreaker show or this show?
This show. Well, I guess both. Yeah.
2, is this? Oh wow, that's awesome. 2, this is your first time watching After Dark and your first time calling in. So very much thank you. We have a lot of people in chat, and not trying to hate on anyone in chat. We get a lot of people in chat and no one who some people who just don't call in. They're not comfortable with it. So I just want to say thank you very much for calling in and helping make the show possible on your first viewing. That we really appreciate it.
And sometimes they trap you in a box and they never let you leave.
Yeah.
So,
In a big yellow box.
I like the whole like the idea of having people call in and the whole like radio show environment. That's just like really cool to me.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Obviously, I talked to Gary a lot about this, and what we do here is very much it's very much video, but it's also at the same time very much talk radio. At the same time, it's talk radio with picture. So you have to kind of think of it that way. There's many platforms if you're trying to get started in podcasting that you can go out with this. There's obviously the route which we currently go, where we post it to multiple video services. We post to Blip as well as we post to YouTube. YouTube is by far and away obviously one of the biggest. It is the biggest video self-service platform out there. It's got the largest community, and it's the best way to get found and noticed and get your stuff out there for free. But a lot of people will argue that there's also so much noise on YouTube that it's hard to get started. So I think especially in this day and age, to get started on YouTube, you've got to just have a lot of perseverance, put out a lot of videos, and just keep going with it, because you're not going to get discovered overnight anymore unless you make a viral video by accident. So if you're trying to do it on your own, those 2 platforms. We also, I believe, let me actually, hey Q, I know we have you on the line. Can you hear me? I know you're on Skype. Q's our producer for the show.
I can hear you.
Q, you do a lot of the publishing and posting and all the different places, so I just thought I'd bring you on and talk about this. We post to iTunes, we post to SoundCloud. Where else do we throw all of our shows?
So our 2 primaries are Blip and then iTunes. Blip and then YouTube. We do iTunes, but only on certain videos because it actually goes through Blip and not all of them are connected yet. Plus, iTunes is a little hard because it actually requires that you have so many videos
Episodes.
or audio files before you actually put it on. And so it takes a little longer. So we have that, and then we have SoundCloud, and then whatever else Gary eventually decides he's going to give me to upload things to, because he always does.
Right. So those are all the places that, thank you so much, Q. So those are all the places that we obviously publish out to, and what we're doing. I don't know. Do you guys have anything, Mike, you're all over the place with all the stuff that you're doing, and you've got obviously your own YouTube channel as well. Do you have any advice for maybe someone who's trying to start their own stuff and do it as well?
Yes. Yeah. I'm independent of what Shaft has given you, which he knows that side of it infinitely more. He's infinitely more well versed in it than I. He knows the algorithms and the YouTubes and what you should do, and he's definitely the guy to answer that. On the other side of things, invest a little bit of money in equipment. particularly audio equipment. That would be my recommendation, just getting started. The first time I did a podcast was a laptop and a $20 Logitech headset microphone. And it worked, okay? But it sucked. I mean, invest a little bit of money, buy it a piece at a time if that's what you need to do. So, also, it helps to get started, to get an audience if you do porn. I don't know if you've ever considered this.
It's true.
This is good advice. I spent a year doing porn before I broke into video game stuff, which is what I really wanted to do, right?
Yeah, you totally have the body for porn.
You gotta start somewhere. I mean, you gotta get that experience. In this day and age, you can't just work for free anymore. You gotta give a little.
Well, I've been offended, and that's fine.
I think the other thing
I was being
too.
totally serious. You've got a face made for radio. I mean,
the one other thing I want to kind of address is Burn obviously talked about audio, and that's so key, but I think it also kind of depends on the medium. If you I think it's CTR, great example. Those guys do an audio podcast, and we're actually trying to get them into video because they're coming on under the Gamebreaker network. So it's only an example for so long, but those guys do such a great radio show, and it's because Pat and Coltrane, and I'm actually not sure of who their third host is, but I know at least those two have like not only a huge amount of background in the industry, but they also have, you know, a really good sounding microphone. And if you're just doing audio, that's super important. You can't have a crappy microphone if all you're going to be doing is talking. But I will say the other thing, you don't have to go to this extent, but the one thing to consider is if you're on camera, consider what you have on screen at all times. You want to be visually distinct from everyone else. And that's something
nobody was going to wear pajamas tonight, so I did.
Pajamas and gunners, you know?
Right. Yeah. Gets all the ladies. They're like, hey, nice pajamas. Are those shooting glasses? Are you going to kill me?
So those are the things. I mean, you kind of want to make sure you get your own thing. You want to make sure you have your own voice, and you kind of just want to make sure that your look is unique. So those would be my suggestions for getting started, and then obviously start posting to YouTube. We have a great feature on Gamebreaker actually that even kind of caters to people out there like yourself who are trying to make content. It's called the U Report, and you can actually, if you have your own user submitted content, you can post your video on YouTube. You can go to our U Report section on our website and upload and kind of create the description and everything for the post right on our website, submit the video, it'll be sent to us, it'll go through an approval process, and if it gets approved, it'll end up in the U Report section on Gamebreaker. So it's a great way for people out there. I know I mentioned earlier the guy who used to send in legendary video questions and submits U Reports all the time now. It's a way that he tries to expand his audience. So great tools out there, and we even have some that can help you get started as well. But hey, use some Shutterstock images. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Kiggles.
God, I have. So from a viewer's perspective, don't be afraid to have strong opinions. Strong opinions are not bad.
Don't be afraid to.
You know, and while you know what, you had your chance.
I know. Go ahead. Sorry.
Christ.
I'm sorry.
Oh, making me lose my train of thought. God damn it. So a strong opinion backed by lots of knowledge. Research what you're talking about, enjoy what you're talking about, and it will translate into video or radio or whatever. Be clear and distinct about what you're talking about, and don't forget to have fun, because this is something you're trying to do for a living or just for fun, and you're supposed to enjoy it, so don't take it too seriously.
Hey, man.
Just seriously.
Glenn Beck and all of the amazing talk show people, they're all really loud, they're opinionated, and they won't back down from their own argument. And don't afraid to be wrong. I'll great advice. Now, I'm not saying that Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and all them are great people to listen to, but there's something to be said for the way that they do their shows. So, you know, hey.
Let's not get started on politics, please. Thank you.
Another bottle. Internet's full of stupid heads.
Yeah, that's the other thing is if you want to post anything to the internet, you got to be
chuckleheads.
You got to be
stupid faces.
You got to be ready for the worst of the worst comments to come out and just shrug it off. You just got to tell yourself, you know what, that kid's 12 years old.
I did a first look for a game, and some of the comments made me go, I did not know this about myself. I don't know how they got this from an audio-only first look like 5 years ago, but they're telling me things I did not know about myself in the comments.
That is true, but you have to be able to separate what is a constructive criticism from what is just pure trolling. Because when I read comments, I see the death of the world in all of the comments. And I always tell myself, don't read viewer comments. Don't read anything on any articles you ever read. And then I do, and that's why I drink giant bottles of wine.
That's why you bring big cocks on camera?
Yeah, I'm a big cock.
Let's open up the lines and take another caller. Caller on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
How's it going, guys? This is Kerry from Moreno Valley again. How's it?
Good, man. How are you? Glad to have you back.
Pretty good. Hey, thanks. Have you checked out Attack on Titan yet, Shaftnet?
No. Breaking Bad is over, though. Dexter's over.
And Breaking Bad is over. You have no excuse anymore.
I have no excuse. Hopefully, when
he
Ashley
does have an excuse, he needs to play Final Fantasy 14.
Hopefully, when Ashley comes to visit on weekends now, we can start watching Attack on Titan because those are out of the way. But now I've got Homeland that started back up, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I was going to say the Michael J. Fox show, but I watched the pilot of that, and that was garbage. So
you're starting new shows right now when the first season of Attack on Titan is already over.
And that's probably the biggest thing is I can get through a lot of Attack on Titan. So it trust me, now that Breaking Bad and everything, all those are out of the way, it's on my agenda to get Ashley and I to watch it. So I will. Very soon I will have an opinion about that show.
All right. Anyway, my question for this week was, what was your first rememberable case of nerd rage, gamer rage on a single player RPG? Doesn't matter.
Does it have to be an RPG? Does it have to be an RPG? Can it just be nerd rage?
We can have just nerd rage. Just I a lot of the games that I used to play in the past were RPGs like Odin Sphere, Hoshigami, and all that stuff. But we can take it past that point too.
Okay, good, because I remember the very first moment of my gamer rage. You guys have any stories before I give my wonderful one?
Oh, go ahead. I got mine.
All right, so the game
mine right away. Go for it.
the game that I specifically, and it's still to this day, gosh, I still feel it. The game that started it all for me was Primal Rage. And it's so funny because I should go back around and probably think about how cheap I was being at the time. But Primal Rage, for those of you guys who don't know, it was an arcade game. It also was released on the Sega Genesis. It was basically a Mortal Kombat with dinosaurs, and it was awesome. It was the coolest thing ever. And I remember that I would play the cheapest character. I believe his name was Sauron. He was the red, fire-breathing Tyrannosaurus. And he could do this really cheap move that you could kill the whole enemy and basically never let them stand up. This is why Primal Rage right now is the reason I will not play fighters to this day. It's the reason I still hate fighters. So it always infuriates me, and it infuriated me as a kid. I remember I'm pretty sure I broke one of the controllers as a child. And I've done that plenty of times after growing up. But God, it was so cheap. For those of you maybe to play the game, there was this. It was called Talon. It was a Velociraptor, and he was the cheapest little bastard in the whole world because he was small, he was fast, and he would do exactly what I would do. Where as soon as you would stand up, before you could even attack or do any animation, he would do an attack that knocked you down again. So then he had to get back up, and then he would attack you again. And it was so frustrating. Because I would play that game for hours on end, and just the most built-up, panting rage from that game was just unbelievable. So Primal Rage, Sega Genesis, my first nerd raging.
Can we
Burn.
talk about
Giggles.
how you just described that character that you played as the cheapest character in that game, where you could not let anyone live or, you know, whatever, do anything, and then you would get mad at someone or a character
The
that
computer!
was cheaper
Because-
than yours.
The-
So I'm
because
just
the
saying,
computer
put
was
yourself in a
being
person
cheap!
with your killing shoes, okay?
The computer was
damn.
being cheaper than I could be cheap, thus it was cheating more than I was cheating. It was not
You hear
fair.
Burn, do you hear that? Do you hear that?
He is a man of many contradictions, Giggle.
So what about you guys? What was some of your first gamer rage? Nothing? I'm the only one
Go
on this
for it,
show that
Bernie.
gamer rages?
I no. Oh no.
No.
Yes, I'm wearing pajamas, chat. Crying out loud. It's 1
He's
a.m.
the
here on the
leisure.
East Coast.
He's the leisure
Going to bed
gamer.
when this is over. You're lucky I'm wearing a shirt at all.
Oh,
I don't
is that
have
a
pants
promise?
on.
Next week,
Pants are a
Burns
binding
nipples.
construct of the man.
Where is this show going?
I have two, actually. One, when I really became a gamer for the first time, was my grandmother had mailed, who lived in California. I lived in Ohio at the time. Mailed an NES and a game or two with it to my mom for whatever. And that was like, okay, here we go. I'm a gamer now. Legend of Zelda, my dad and I played that all the time, to the point where we were able to beat it with one guy without dying, no problem. But when we were still getting acclimated to the whole thing, first quest, Dungeon 5, there's a series of 2 rooms where you have to beat up a bunch of blue knights. to
Oh,
get
screw
through
those knights!
2 room. Yeah. 2 room, because you got to get the damn whistle so that you can go and with the eye boss and he breaks into a bunch and you beat him up. But that whistle, you had to get through 2 blue knight rooms. Now the blue knights you could only hit in the side or the back, and they were stronger than the red knights, so they took, depending on your sword, anywhere from 4 to 8 hits. I sucked at this. I was terrible at it. My dad, it wasn't even a challenge once he did it 2 or 3 times. He knew it. Ba-bam, 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 ba-bam. To the point where I got so angry at this thing that I, through my first controller, spiked it into the ground. And to this day, my parents don't let me live this down. My mother still quotes me because I said it's not fair. The Nintendo knows it's me. And it lets Dad do it. It hates me, and it won't let me do it. So that was the first controller throw. The first rage where I didn't want to look at a game for another few days after that was Final Fantasy II in the US, 4 to the rest of the world, Demon Wall fight. That son of a bitch was just
Demon Wall, my favorite. Yeah, Demon Wall.
Just made me throw the controller and stay away from it for probably about a week before I was willing to pick it back up again. Just absolutely frustrating. So yeah.
I hated that. You had to, that sucked. You had to unequip all your good shit, and you had to put on all your wood crap. Fuck that shit.
I will say, Demon Wall fight, Final Fantasy XIV, Shaftnet, very cool fight. You should play.
You're gonna keep pushing until I play, aren't you?
You already own the damn game.
Are you going to invite me? No one invites me to anything!
I don't have to invite you. You've got 15 people that are already yelling at you to play it.
That's because I have lots of friends. Shaftnet would too if he came and hung out with us, but he's too cool for us because he works all the time.
So, Kiggles, what was your first game rage?
There's a reason we can't finish a game of Monopoly or Risk in my house, because I still gamer rage. Whenever it starts attacking me in Risk, fuck that game. Fuck my fucking family.
Is there? I want to know across the board.
Ends.
Clearly, Kiggles can't. Is there a single game of Monopoly that's ever been played that doesn't end in a fist fight? You could be like the closest of family members. We do not play Monopoly in my home, like immediate household anymore because of so many fights that we had growing up. Even when we go home for Christmas, want to play Monopoly? Are you kidding me? No, I don't want to punch you in the face right now, Mom. You just cooked me dinner. I don't really want to. I don't want to disrespect you.
I'm not a very big Dane Cook fan, but that is one of my favorite skits of his.
I totally agree. He nails that.
Get off me, Grandpa! Nana is a cheating whore.
Fuck this game.
So good. I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh God, so good.
Also, Mario Party and Mario Kart. Fuck those games. People throwing red shells at me because I'm too good and I'm winning. They got to collude against me. I hate everyone.
Possibly be because that's the point of the damn game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mario Kart and Mario Party, those are fun rages. Like those are the LAN party type rages that we've lost in this day and age of the console. That I think that. Shut up! I know games were better back in the day. I'm saying it.
We were almost Tom Brady. We almost made it.
When they're still coming out with Mario Karts, at least, and I specifically say this because I just played Mario Kart about not even a month ago, and it was fun. Like it was there again, and that's and all I'm saying is I don't think that's rage. That's fun rage. That's you yelling at your friends while you're on a couch because they threw a turtle shell at you, and you're like, I don't know. I still like that kind of rage. That's the warm fuzzy rage.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's real
Warm,
fun,
fuzzy
except
rage.
when you've played like 100-turn Mario Party game, and you get really pissed at like turn, I don't know, 48 or 98 or something, and you get really pissed, and you pull your controller out, and then it stops the game, and everyone's mad at you.
Let's open up the lines and take another caller. Caller on line with Gamer here after dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
It's not chicken.
How's it going, man?
What's up? Currently playing Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah.
Well, you and Byrne can get along and go play.
Better than the rest of this panel. You're a good man.
So what do you got?
Well, first of all, before I get into my question, I just want to say one word to the previous question, and that is Gaikai. PS4 will play PS3 games with Gaikai starting next spring. All right. Now to get into my question, you remember back in Star Wars Episode 2 where we had the senator from Naboo could not make the Congress meeting, and so they had the planet had to send a representative to speak for them. So they sent Jar Jar Binks to speak for them at the Planetary Congress.
Yes.
Right. And then Jar Jar Binks was the one who initiated the vote to give Chancellor Palpatine emergency powers that then led to him having full control over the government.
So Jar Jar Binks caused Star Wars.
Caused the rise of the Empire, yes.
Right.
Do you think that our U.S. government would have been better or worse if Jar Jar would have been in our Congress? Would the government have shut down? And would we have even known about it if the news hadn't told us about it?
Is it bad?
I told you in Mumble not to ask me this question because I was going to get angry.
Is it really sad that I would rather have Jar Jar Binks in our Congress right now than our own Congress, and any of the other Democrats or Republicans that are right now fighting it out over something stupid because neither of them want to move forward?
No, you do not do that, okay? It is not a pox on both their houses. One party caused this. The other party tries to enact a law that's already been enacted, and another party is a fucking spoiled child that won't play with the other kids. Fuck that. I'm done.
Yeah, I mentioned this was an argument in our Mumble about 2 hours before now. So yeah, just pleaded with me to bring it onto the show.
Nothing? Is that you done, Kiggles? That all you got?
Jar Jar Binks, but yes, Jar Jar Binks caused Star Wars.
Byrne, what do you think? I don't know. Did Jar Jar Binks cause Star Wars, and would you rather have him on?
I would rather. Let's see. Yeah, I think Jar Jar Binks would have fit in with Congress rather well. Probably would have made some
Intelligently.
friends.
Yeah.
Probably would have made a lot of friends. Probably would have caused a lot of thoughtful discussion that some members of the House and Senate don't have now, and that's sad when you think about it. Yeah, sure. So yes, I would be in favor of Jar Jar for the House of Representatives.
You know, I don't think you could have ever made me get behind support of Jar Jar Binks as a character or in his intelligence level. But you know, I think I'm gonna have to go with Jar Jar on this one. I think I'd rather have him, you know, making the decisions for us.
At least it would be enjoyable.
It's really funny when we watch a movie character in a movie and we're like, oh my god, he's an idiot. And then we transpose him to real life and we're like, he probably could have done some good. probably could have done some good.
Well, at least Jar Jar Binks was able to make a vote.
Right.
So has anyone seen that movie about, it was like an average guy that, I don't know, he gets put in cryostasis or something and wakes up, I don't know how many years later, but the world is full of retards and he is the smartest person in the world. Do you know what?
No
Idiocracy,
idea.
yes. It was Idiocracy. So basically it's this guy who is an average person in normal time. And he goes into cryostasis, comes out, I don't know how many years later, but he comes out and the world is full of retards. Does anyone else feel like this is what the world is coming to? This is why I drink.
I'm just gonna tread lightly. We're already close to overtime on our show. This is a whole different, like, to get serious on this topic. This is a whole another episode, a whole different show entirely.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep it relevant to the Jar Jar Binks. I'm sure all three of us have interesting things to say about government's current standings, but let's just move on. Let's get to our last question here of the night. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Hey, Mike, it's Rich from Breckenridge.
Hey, how's it going, man?
All right, how are you doing tonight?
Good. Glad to have you back.
From Kiggles blowing up about politics.
What's that?
I said aside from Kiggles blowing up about politics.
Yeah, Kiggles wanted nothing to do with that.
Oh, and I'm gonna add it in there and say we did have Jar Jar Binks. His name was George Bush.
Close enough, I guess. I can see where you draw your similarities.
Also on another fun thing, I would say my rage, my young rage, was one of the Mega Mans. Definitely did a lot of control slamming. And
platformers can just fuck off. They were awful as children. You ever want to make yourself cry? Go back and play the platformers that you thought were so great back in the day. You want to see me not support the games that back in the day. Platformers are for the better.
Yeah,
now.
Ghosts and Goblins still kicks me in the nuts.
Real quick though, Rich, before we get to your question though, I actually realized I need to tell everybody about a sponsor here that we have at Gamebreaker. So I need to hold on to your question just real quick. Burn.
That was the smoothest segue ever.
Stop your hyperventilating.
Hey, do me a favor, just shut up for a second here. Let me tell you about something.
And hang on 1 second, because I got to tell you guys about this sponsor that helps pay the bills and make things happen. And we're really happy to actually have right here. It's a great service, one that we can't highly recommend to any of you guys out there who are maybe a little too busy to sit down and read books. Audible.com, great service that offers hundreds of thousands of hours worth of listening pleasure with Audible.com. There are so many options to choose from. Video game related topics that stem from Diablo to World of Warcraft to Star Wars to, I think there's even some Elder Scrolls books in there and so many more. But the one that I've been kind of pushing towards people to trying out tonight has been Ender's Game. Ender's Game is a new sci-fi movie that's coming out I think in either this week or next week. It's coming out soon. And why not? You know, obviously a big debate is what's always better, the book or the movie. So why not go ahead and catch up with the book by checking it out on Audible?
It's the book. It's always the book.
Well, there you go. It's the book. So go ahead and check out Ender's Game and get a better experience than going and watching the movie, because it's available on Audible right now, the special 20th anniversary edition. So it's available right now, and you can actually pick it up for free, because if you go head over to audible.com/Gamebreaker, you'll sign up, you'll get a free 30 days as well as a free audiobook, so you can get started right now and with no risk. You can cancel before the membership actually even begins if you guys aren't happy. So no risk required. Kiggle, well, I guess I'm the only one who doesn't have the time to read. I can read a business card, and that's about all I can read. Gary Gannon, CEO. All right, cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading a real book. You know, the predecessor to Audible.
Yeah, but Audible's such a great sponsor here that helps pay our bills, so we want to make sure that people are using them.
No, that's great. No, yeah, totally use it.
So, Rich, we've got you available here now on the line. So what's your question for us?
So, with BlizzCon on the horizon, what do you think the expansion pack theme will be? I know we've got the leaked document that everybody's speculating, you know, that, if it follows form, but we've established that form doesn't exactly come from that, just kind of timeline-wise comes from that. What are you thinking that, where do you think we're going to go with it? What theme are we going to have?
Kiggles, you want to take this one before I jump in?
Wait, what was the question?
What do you think where do you think the next expansion?
By the Audible ad.
Where do you think the next expansion for WoW is going to take its
Sorry,
direction?
I was reading my book. I was so engrossed in my Audible.
Well, see, if you were listening to an audiobook, you could have it in one ear and then be listening in the other ear so that you could hear the question. Just saying. Then you don't have to focus on it with your mind.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me go get my friend who knows more about this than me.
So World of Warcraft, I think that
no. He's not.
Wait. He is.
Not again.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
no. Damn it.
So hey, Lore, Lore, I know you're busy at work over there, you know, holding down some blue posts for us, and thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to sit down and speak to us, Josh. We're wondering what's the new expansion? What direction is the new expansion going to take?
The Burning Legion. Really? Have you not listened to any of the things I've been saying for the past million years? I don't have my tinfoil hat here, but if I would, I would tell you you're all stupid.
But what about the Emerald Dream, Lore, or you know, the Abyssal Maw?
It's a dream. It's a dream. Just don't think about it. It's a dream.
I think that's the general, you know, informed opinion is that at this point we're pretty we're pretty overdue at that. All roads are leading towards Burning Legion focused and direction. We know that obviously they are pushing for a big baddie after kind of what happened with Mist of Pandaria. We've talked about this on Legendary, where we think that they've kind of learned their lesson at this point, and they're going to focus on this big overarching bad person, whoever it might be, which leads us to believe that the Burning Legion will be popping up its head in some way or another. Maybe Kill Jaden will be back, because as I've had conversations with people, we didn't actually kill him, we just banished him. So it's interesting to think over where we're going. But I don't know, real quick, do you guys have any thoughts or opinions based on the documents that we've seen, Dark Below or Heroes of the Storm? Estimations. I know you guys aren't on Legendary, so you haven't had a chance to weigh your opinions. What do you think of those two trademarks? Do you think either one is the direction for the World of Warcraft expansion?
I think Heroes is much more likely, in my opinion, to be the Dark Below. See, what's really weird about this is like Missy has almost gotten me to resub to WoW, and watching a lot of the Garrosh stuff too, and how that went down in the cutscenes after that. I'm starting to get back into the lore piece of it, which is something I did really like about Warcraft when I stopped playing. I think Heroes of the Storm makes more sense and is probably the direction, if not the title of the expansion. And I'm interested to see where Jaina goes. I think the whole thing there with Jaina and the way things might not be entirely lawful good, to put it that way, the way things went down, I hope they do something with that storyline. And if that's the way we're going with this, back to the Burning Legion and maybe playing with some of the more established characters in that way, I might have to resub up.
Kiggles, what do you think?
The thing is, as my WoW keeps telling me many times when I log in, Turalian and Illyrian have not been seen in many years. So where exactly are they? Oh, I'm dead.
Go ahead, Kiggles. We'll read your...
Blizzard tried to kill me. Blizzard, I'm revealing all their secrets now.
Blizzard didn't like the...
My friend Lore told me about who they were, what it was. No. No, but so I think that if you've seen the secret Garrosh heroic extra part, then it feels more complete to me because you kill him. So I'm not as down on Blizzard as I am. But I would say yes. We still haven't done Queen Ashara, and she's so integral to the part of not only the fate of Ashara, but just the whole feeling like it's a cohesive storyline. So I think Queen Ashara maybe is going to be in the next expansion in some fashion. I don't think she's going to be an end boss because I feel like she's not worth being an end boss. She's only a gateway to something bigger. And that something bigger is the Burning Legion.
My gut's still on the idea that we will see Sargeras take his immediate effect on with the Burning Legion and attack, and he will make himself known for those who are unaware, because he hasn't appeared in the World of Warcraft at all. Like, we've seen his influence, we know that he exists, but if you just strictly play World of Warcraft, if you do not take the time to research the lore, you have no idea who Sargeras is. I think that we will see him pop up and become a part of the greater picture, but potentially we will only see something of one of his lieutenants, and again I'll bring up Kil'jaeden, as being the end boss of the expansion. There will be all of this big overarching stuff that involves Sargeras and the Burning Legion, but it's going to be a more than just an expansion arc. I think would be an interesting way for them to take it.
But you don't even have to research the lore. You just have to look in what is in MOP right now. If you have done the legendary quest and talked to Rathian, that crazy dragon at all, then you know that if you ever look at that, you know, when, I forget which part it is, but he shows you that, like, the Horde and the Alliance must have peace, because for what is to come, and what is to come is, you see all these fucking meteors hitting Azeroth. A house divided isn't going to win. And meteors, I'm sorry, if you look at Flame and any kind of, you know, fiery death situation, you're either going to Ragnaros or you're going to the Burning Legion. So, basically,
but who's in charge of the Burning Legion?
Sargeras, yes, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm telling you you're wrong. I'm doing the Kiggles. Please leave me alone while I'm doing the Kiggles. Thank you.
Let me explain to you the 900 reasons why you are absolutely wrong, sir. And then I will finish up by telling you how correct you are.
I challenge you to a duel, sir.
Well, I say, well, boy, Well, I say it's Foghorn Leghorn, boy.
Oh my god. But yes, I do think. But the thing is, Heroes of the Storm. It actually, I don't know where I read it, but someone was talking about Heroes of the Storm as Blizzard All Stars, as the Blizzard MOBA, and Heroes of the Storm. Really, to me, it looks like that would fit more of that.
The concern that people have is that the concern that people have is the trademark for that encapsulated discs, which I'm not saying that there can't be hard discs for that game, but if it was a completely downloadable game like League, I don't believe there are any installed discs for League, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where people were thinking it was something above. And I think that being said, again, we talked about this on Legendary. Heroes of the Storm is focusing on the heroes. Look at it in the past: Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria. It hasn't ever been about the heroes. So there's speculation and reason to go against it, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that also points towards it. It's an interesting topic, and I don't think we'll ever know for sure. It's going to be one of those Mists of Pandaria moments when we get to BlizzCon and we're still teasing it.
And that's what Blizzard does very well, is they tease their people. Like not having fucking beta keys!
Wow, we're still on that.
Giggles, you can follow him right down there at the Zach Schultz.
You're all stupid!
Be sure to check him out each week here, bringing his sass right to After Dark. Mike Byrne, you can follow him right down there at MagicMan1. Be sure to catch him all over Gamebreaker, XIV Nation, free-to-play TV, just all over the place. Man never sleeps. Thug life. I don't know what that was. Me, you can follow me right down here at Mike Shaftnet. Be sure to check out After Dark. If you guys haven't ever watched this show live, it's completely dictated by you guys, the callers. And we need callers to make the show happen. So if you guys haven't watched live, check it out. Tuesdays at 9 p.m. PDT. Call us in by hitting us up on Skype with the username GB After Dark. And we can get you lined up. Try and show up a little bit early because we line up all the callers prior to the show actually starting. So show up a little bit early, hang out with the pre-show, and come give your thoughts and opinions on After Dark. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate all you callers. We'll see you next week.